Several years ago, I heard Patsy Clairmont speak. Her humor, liveliness, and unique storytelling immediately captured my attention. As soon as possible, I purchased several of her books, and each one felt like I was having a lunch with Patsy. I laughed, cried, and learned. Normal is Just a Setting on Your Dryer is one of Clairmont's books, and it particularly captivated my attention. You see, for years I had worked to develop a normal life and schedule, working tirelessly not to waste time, being efficient, and accomplishing more each day than the previous day. I wanted to redeem the time, as I'd heard so many admonish. Clairmont's deep faith in God and her sense of humor challenged me to rethink my idea of normal and even redeeming the time. When you face a sudden trauma of any kind, often your first thought is, I just want to go back to the way things were. And of course you do, because your God-created fight and flight mechanisms are there to protect you from harm. And trauma causes harm. But the way things were, your normal, got you here. If you and your spouse are struggling with betrayal trauma, going back to the patterns of the past only perpetuates the problem. Yet your fight and flight brain seeks protection first of all. So now you have a choice. Well, let's look at 3 truths you need to know about embracing change after discovering his porn struggle. First, comfort does not equal growth. I like to be comfortable. In my clothes, my home, my work, my environment, my relationships, whatever, I want to be comfortable. We refer to certain foods as comfort food. Last week I made a comfort food dinner and enjoyed every single bite, and so did Dave. Well, think about your comfort foods. What makes them comfortable for you? And enjoying comfort isn't bad unless it keeps you from growing and maturing. Let me give you a couple of examples. Do you shy away from visiting a store because you've never been there before, don't know your way around, and don't want to appear stupid? Have you ever skipped attending an event because you didn't know anyone? I have. And then I used being an introvert to justify my behavior. What excuses do you use to avoid uncomfortable situations and relationships? We all have them. Now, before you tune out and tell me that I just don't understand, I'm not talking about when you're in an unsafe situation. These are just uncomfortable situations. Growth causes discomfort. Think about learning a new language. I'm amazed by people who are fluent in several languages. They've invested the time, sweat, and frustration to learn, understand, and apply a new language so they can communicate with another person in that language. Secondly, change will happen. If you are alive, you are changing. It's part of life. Nothing remains the same. My life verse in 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 23 and 24 says, Now may the God of peace make you holy in every way, and may your whole spirit and soul and body be kept blameless until our Lord Jesus Christ comes again. Here's the part I love. God will make this happen, for he who calls you is faithful. In this verse, and also in Romans 12, verse 2, God talks about transformation. God's work in your life changes your beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors. And I love it that God does the work in you as you learn from, listen to, and act upon what you learn. He does this for your benefit. Transformation is change. You will change every day you remain alive. You can't avoid it because you cannot remain stagnant. Your body ages from the moment you are born. If you read something, your brain adds knowledge to its stores. Whatever nourishment you take in or don't take in causes a change in your body. Change can be positive or negative. You get to choose. Number 3, eliminate the good to make room for the important. I didn't understand this aspect of change for many years, but as God and I journey together, I've learned that sometimes letting go of something I consider good creates space for a new adventure with God. My business coach challenged me to look at everything I was doing in my business at the end of each year and evaluate 15% to eliminate in the coming year. That sounded crazy. But just because I've always done something doesn't mean it needs to continue. It's the concept of pruning. I used to grow roses, and each spring I pruned my rose bushes to allow the healthiest vines to get the most nourishment. Each snip brought tears to my eyes as I removed the weakest part of the plant, but I knew it would encourage growth, even if it meant removing a rose. God prunes you when He encourages you to leave behind destructive thought patterns and replace them with His truth from the Bible. In Philippians 2, it encourages us to adopt Christ's mindset. Well, what is that mindset, and how can you adopt it? In order to understand, you need to invest time and energy into studying the life of Christ so that you can apply these principles and grow. When I was in the first year of recovery after discovering Dave's porn struggles, I stepped away from volunteer activities that I enjoyed, the good things, to create space for me to get counseling and coaching so I could heal. That's what was important. I needed time to work through my pain, attend counseling appointments with Dave and my own, read the Bible, pray, and journal. Through that newly created space, God revealed many false expectations and unhealthy beliefs that needed to go away. I had to grow or change to find a new healthy way to live. Had I continued to do what I'd been doing, my normal, I would not have had the capacity to grow. Well, what do you believe about embracing change and how it affects your growth? Carol Dweck's landmark book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, challenges the fixed mindset approach to life. Dweck's premise is that we all change and grow, and we need to. The more I study the Bible, the more I see that Dweck's research and conclusion lines up very well with God's heart. He created you and me to mature, to become more like Jesus. He didn't create you as an automaton. He gave you a mind, heart, and will to use for His glory or for evil. It's your choice. So these days, whenever I whine about life getting back to normal, I remember that normal is a setting on your dryer, and perhaps normal is abnormal and unattainable. It simply isn't God's way. You can embrace change and growth, and your husband can leave porn behind. You have choices, and so does he. Don't condemn yourself or him to the common fallacy that addicts can't recover. It's just not true. If you don't know where to start, or if you struggle to believe change is possible, please reach out. I promise to hear your heart, listen to your story, and point you to God's redeeming grace and healing. Embracing change that leads to growth brings an exciting adventure. Just go to KirstenDSamuel.com and click the button on the homepage that says, Let's Talk.